What is going on, guys? I'm Jack.
And I'm Ollie.
And welcome back to Project Race Car. We are back once again filming together, and we have the two cars together. Today's video is going to be pretty exciting. This is the second time these cars have been together?
Yeah, it is now, yeah. The last time they were together was the first time this had been out of the garage in about 2 years.
Exactly, so, yeah.
Every time we get them together, it's a bit special. So.
It is, yeah, and it's hopefully the start of a very busy summer for these two cars, which we're going to get onto in a minute. So the purpose of this video is to explain what is going on with these two cars. So you would have seen bits and pieces. Ollie obviously has been doing his Evo 5 build. This also marks the start of the next stage of the R34 build, which is pretty awesome. So we've got a stack load of parts in the Fiesta over there, which we're going to take a look at in a bit.
The main topic of this video is talking about how you, as subscribers, can get two cars like these, two 90s JDM legends, and get them to around the 500 horsepower mark and what it takes to get them there.
Yeah, that's the plan. So they are obviously fairly different platforms. Evo being, four-wheel drive, four-cylinder,
more rally focused.
Exactly. And the R34 being a 2.5 litre straight six turbo. There's a massive fly on my hand. But yeah, so we've got a stack of parts. Ollie's obviously well on the way with his, but let's take a look under the engine bay, because if you haven't seen in the last video, it looks absolutely insane now.
Excuse the wiring though, because I've sort of bundled it all up so that we could push it out here today.
Yeah,
so all of the wiring is here, which I need to strip out of the car, as I said in my last episode of the 5 build. Tomei is just sat there. It looks disgusting at the moment. I need to address that. The paint was far too soft.
It needs repainting, but
yeah, all of this will change. The fuse box is going under the dashboard, and yeah, there's lots of stuff coming.
But yeah, how good is the engine bay looking in this Evo, guys? It looks absolutely insane. It's had so much work on it. It's been what, 2 years?
Yeah.
2.5 years?
Yeah, I could have done it a lot quicker if I had more time and more money, but there we go. That's just how these projects work.
But it will be on the road this year.
Yes, it will be. So very excited about that. And every time I look at the car outside in the sun, I'm like, yes.
On that note, guys, we are going to be doing some shows this year. So if you are at any of the following shows, feel free to come say hello. We're going to be at, what are we doing? Spring Action Day?
Spring Action Day, Summer Action Day, Auto Fest, Jap Fest. God, what else? Players.
We might be doing players. We're not sure about players yet, but we'll let you know.
And what else are we doing? Don't know. I think
Offset in Cornwall.
Yeah,
well, that's not till October.
If Japanese Performance Show goes ahead, we'll probably be doing that one as well. There's probably too many to list. We'll put them in the description.
Yeah, also make sure you follow us on Instagram as well, because we post a load of stuff over there about shows and stuff. And on Facebook as well. We've started posting a bit on Facebook recently about the shows and things, so if you want to check us out on there.
And if you're interested, you could DM us, and if you've got a nice car, send us some photos in, because at most of these shows we are running stands. So if you're interested in bringing your car on stand, we can probably cater for that too.
Yeah, exactly. Next thing, you may have noticed we're wearing matching hoodies. We now have official Project Race Car hoodies, which you can't really see from there. But yeah, these will be up for sale soon, guys, and we're getting a website together. So again, follow us on Instagram to find out when we're going to be posting all the stuff for sale. Some stickers as well.
And we got stickers, yeah.
And we got stickers. Yeah. So you guys have probably seen it if you follow us on there already. But the website will be up fairly soon, at least before show season. So you will be able to buy these hoodies. We've got them in a couple of colours. We've got them in this like dusty pink. We've got them a light pink, and we've got a charcoal as well. If you're not a fan of pink, but this colour's awesome. I absolutely love it. I wear it all the time. So guys, let's start with the Evo. How do you get one of these to around 500 brake? So we're not going to go into massive detail on this, because Ollie's obviously done a whole build series on it. So if you want to find out all the technical details on everything that's in the car, go and watch the Evo 5 playlist, which I'll put in a card here somewhere. But very briefly, Ollie, do you want to run through what you've done to get this car, or what it will be running 500 brake?
Yeah. So, I mean, by no means am I an Evo specialist as such. I'm just a regular old geezer doing it in his garage at home. But obviously, being a mechanic by trade, it makes things a little bit easier, and obviously makes things, being able to do it myself, a lot easier as such. But these cars really, compared to a lot of cars, are actually very easy to get to 500 brake. If you're running like a later model 7, 8 or 9, they've got a stronger bottom end than the 4, 5s and 6s anyway. They've got stronger rods, and in the States they've been known to push 700, 800 horsepower on stock bottom end. Obviously that's ported head, different intake manifold, obviously a different turbo setup, things like that. But they will do it, whereas 360, 380 is about the limit on a 4, 5 or 6 stock bottom end. So if you push in for 500 with these, you've obviously got to put forged rods and pistons in it. The cranks have been known to do 1,000 horsepower, so your crankshaft's fine. If you're looking to do an Evo build, you probably want to try and find a 5 or a 6 block, because the 4s have got different thrust bearings which cause crank walk. So I won't go into what that is, but you can Google it and find out what that is. But basically what you're going to need is a forged bottom end, bigger turbo, something like the Tomei arms. I don't know if it will make 500 brake, but we'll see. But something, either Precision, Garrett, something like that, that will get you to that. Sorry, just a tractor going past. That will get you to that goal. Coil unplug, not necessary, recommended. Cams, not necessary, recommended. But yeah, these are very, very simple to get to 500 horsepower. I've just done a lot of stuff here that I've wanted to do, not necessarily needed to do. Intercoolers recommended, hard piping is recommended. But for the later model 7, 8s and 9s, you can buy the ETS kit with the piping and everything like that. But on the grand scheme of things, also drop-in fuel pump in the tank, you'll need one of those. Bigger injectors, fuel pressure regulator and stuff's fine to get the 500 brake.
It's going to be an insane build. Obviously, this is good for what, 900 horsepower?
No, the bottom end's built for 600.
600.
Because it's got H-beams in it, not I-beams. I chose to go for the lighter H-beams to make it a little bit more revier. Hence the reason why I stayed with a 2 litre and not going for a 2.3, because I wanted to spool a little bit of a smaller turbo. I wasn't thinking of a big turbo. But the reason this is built the way that it is so that one day if I decide, yeah, I want to slap a Precision 5858 or a 6266 or something like that, or a Garrett G series on it, it's built to take it, it's got the fuel rig to take it, it just needs settle other little supporting mods to get it there from the point that it's at now. That's the whole idea with this. And also because a lot of the things that I wanted to do I've done, so yeah. The problem is, where I've gone with this though is, if you want to do a full build, great, then go for it, but there's a lot of things on this that I probably didn't need to do but I've wanted to do, and that's where you need to distinguish, do I need to do it or do I want to do it, in order to budget for a build like this. I mean, obviously I'm in way more than I intended to spend on this when I started it, but that's just the nature of the beast. So just bear that in mind if you're going to look at buying an Evo and want to get it to around 450, 500 horsepower. So yeah. Sweet.
So we're not going to go into too much detail on the Evo, although that was reasonable detail. But if you want to check out the full build of Ollie's Evo, make sure you check out the playlist as I mentioned before.
There's probably a few things that I've missed as well.
Definitely.
But by checking out the series,
yeah,
you will see those bits that I've missed.
And it's proper technical as well, that series. So if you're mechanically minded, or you want to know about all the technical side of things, this guy knows what he's talking about. I think anyway.
Yeah.
I trust him with my car. So. Speaking of, let's get on to the R34. So we're going to take the R34 down to the unit, which is where we're going to store it, and we're going to be doing the work over the next couple of weeks. So again, we're going to be getting to around 500 brake, might make a bit less, might make a bit more, but we'll see.
You're going to be limited by injectors, aren't you?
We probably are going to be limited by injectors at this stage, but that should, fingers crossed, be the only limitation aside from the stock bottom end. So it is an EO engine, so let's get the car down to the unit and we'll go through all the parts and show you what we've got planned for the next couple of months.
Go ham on it down there.
Let's go. So guys, we've got the R34 in the unit where it's going to be living for the next month, 6 weeks or so, while we get on with the performance upgrades, which we're about to talk about now. So let's run through what we've got. So guys, what we've got here is we've got a Marlboro 450, which doesn't actually say on that, I don't think anywhere, but it is a 450 rather than 255, just so it's a bit future-proof. That's obviously just a standard drop-in pump. Which is good for God knows how much horsepower, 700 probably, but way more than we need right now, but always better to future-proof, right? So
700 horsepower, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So next thing, ARP head studs, which are pretty much a must. So
when you're running higher boost levels, the standard head bolts usually don't like to keep the head clamped onto the block. And if you think about how much PSI is put put on these when each time the cylinder fires, you've got a lot of pressure. So especially when you're up in the boost and running more fuel, more air and everything through it, you need a higher clamping force on the head to keep it down. And these ARPs are ridiculously strong. and they're race proven. I'm running in the Evo, so
I think that most people run those in any build across various different cars.
pretty much every single car. If you're doing head work, ARP head studs.
Yeah.
And also we've been speaking to quite a few people. Jack has as well, about how to do those. And a lot of RB work is done in Australia because the Aussies love the RBs. So we were suggested, if it's not burning any oil or anything, leave the head on and do the head studs one by one, which is fine because I've done it before at work and stuff. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So instead of taking the head off, because there's nothing wrong with the head gasket, nothing wrong with the engine, it's not smoking or anything, so we're just going to replace the head studs one by one.
See how we go.
And then if you want to build it later on down the road, then you got reusable head studs. Oh, and you can reuse these, whereas you can't with standard head bolts because they're stretch bolts.
Indeed.
So
yeah. So on to the next thing. So we've got some injectors, obviously a must. These are a direct drop-in. They are R34 GTR injectors, believe it or not. So I think I'm right in saying the RB25 Neos are the only ones out of the RB engines that fit these, but they are just Denso 550cc's. Or possibly 540cc's. It's not quite clear, but either way, around that.
I think these are what are going to be a limiting factor, aren't they?
At this stage, yeah. So we are going to be limited by those to start with, but I want to.
Not a problem.
I don't want to jump from 320 brake to like 600 in one go.
Those will do 450, and then that gives you a chance to get used to a much more aggressive and faster car.
Yes, exactly. So we'll get the car mapped around. It'll be make around 450. We're expecting maybe 470 at a push, but we don't want to push it too hard.
I don't know if any of you guys have driven 34 GTTs or GTRs. Factory, they are very, very... Obviously, this is not quite factory, but they are very linear. They're very... It doesn't really have much of a punch when you hit the turbo and stuff like that. Sorry, there are sheep in the background if you can hear them. But they're very, very linear. So the idea of this is to have a very fast, responsive, hard-hitting 450 horsepower.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and then the idea of not going straight to 500, 600 horsepower is just so that Jack can get used to it.
Yeah, and just see how it drives and see what changes we want to make when we do up the boost. These Neos are pretty strong with minimal engine work. So I think there's a chap in Australia that I got linked to the other day. He is running, I think, 750 wheel horsepower stock bottom end, just with cams and head studs and head gasket.
500 horsepower should be perfect.
That's insane. I mean, I'm surprised it's lasted that long on 700
they
wheel. But
if you get a healthy one, they will.
Exactly, but it's healthy. So that's the plan. We'll see how it behaves. See what the temps and everything are like on the mapping day. Make sure the tuner's happy, and then look at upping it from there. Really.
So we're adding this on because Jack and I completely forgot. We had a bit of a busy day yesterday, so we completely forgot to cover this entire box of parts when we were going through it. But we've got a braided clutch line from Hell. Definitely recommend Hell products if you want to go for like braided brake lines and stuff, or clutch lines. They are fantastic. I just ordered a braided one for the clutch line on the Evo, funnily enough. And then you'll recognise this from my video. Jack has got himself a plug and play G4X for his, obviously for the R34. Very similar to the Evo one, but they don't have a built-in map sensor and a few things. So Jack has got a 3-bar map sensor to go with it, the mounting boss for the sensor, and also an air temperature sensor so that he can run a speed density setup so he can delete the mass airflow sensor, so we can run a nice big fat intake system. Also got some ARP flywheel bolts. These are definitely recommended. Funnily enough, I'm going to have to take my gearbox back out on the Evo because I've installed these wrong. I put grease on the threads instead of Loctite, which ARP recommends Loctite, but there we go, we make mistakes, so you'll see that in the next Evo episode. But if you're in there changing the flywheel, just keep it safe and put a set of ARPs in. And then the last big thing in the box, we have a competition clutch kit. Now, I can't exactly remember what one this is, but I think this is a stage 4. So this is a beautiful bit of kit from Australia. I'm pretty sure it's a twin plate. Oh no, it's not a twin plate, it's a single plate, but it's a 6-puck single plate clutch. So it should be pretty sweet. It comes with an alignment tool, and obviously in there is a competition clutch lightweight flywheel. Can't wait to get these parts in the car. We are both intrigued as to how this how this clutch is going to feel, because normally 6-pucks are quite stiff. I mean, the stage 4 that Jack had in the Evo was pretty horrendous, but we'll see. So yeah.
So on to the main event, really, because the one thing that we haven't shown, obviously how we're going to get there, is the turbo. So you can see in the background, it's a fairly beefy boy. It's for those who aren't aware, it is a Mamba GTX 3071R. So
Garrett internals, Garrett wheels. And the housings and the wastegate is made in-house by Mamba, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a bolt-on housing. Bolts onto
a T3 flange.
T3 flange, yeah. So
it will go onto the standard log manifold.
Yeah, we think
nice and simple.
It's probably going to need a little bit of work to get it on. So I think it will probably need a spacer. And
all of that's got to go.
Yeah. So this, for those who are not aware, guys, the stock turbo is
right under there.
It's right down here. If the camera picks that up at all. So we're going to have to put all this out. And see what sort of space we're working with. Although it will go, because this kit is designed to go.
Bolt-on kit.
It's a bolt-on kit for an RB25. So
it's kind of like my Tomei is for the Evo. It just bolts on in the standard.
These turbos weren't originally designed to be bolt-ons, but Mamba have made a bolt-on kit. No,
because the 3076 was not a stock frame turbo.
Correct. Although it's 3071R.
3071R, sorry.
But it's basically the same. A lot of people run 3076s, but the 3071 is just that bit smaller and
a
little bit quicker spool. So we don't, at this stage we don't need 600-700 horsepower.
So I was trying to persuade Jack to go top mount, but it was about 1,500 to £2,000 more on top of the original outlay that we bought this for. Well, he bought this for.
Yeah.
Just to have a top mount manifold and stuff like that. So there really was no point in it just to have. Yes, I know it's pretty, but it's not. It's not like a Garrett or anything that you want to have like on the top.
Yeah.
So this is sort of like a. What you're aiming for here is like a stepping stone, isn't it? So it's
exactly that, yeah. So this is going to be a stopgap for a later stage in the build. So we're gonna keep it around 450, 500, maybe 550 if we get some different injectors. We'll see how far we can push the Neo, and then maybe at the time if we ever forge the engine, which may happen further down the line, we'll go with a bigger V-band top mount turbo and Garrett G series or something like that, and go for a really big power.
I have to say, looking at the quality of this turbo, obviously, because I'm obviously a fan of like Tomeis and HKS and things like that. The quality of this turbo is very good, considering it's not technically like a Garrett or something like that. It's impressed me actually. The quality is fantastic, and with it being Garrett internals,
it's strong.
It's strong. So
yeah,
Garrett is definitely the way forward, and I think for the price, yeah, you can't really go wrong with this Mamba.
It's give or take £1,000 turbo, guys.
You're not going to expect much out of it for like
that's that's £700-800 cheaper than a genuine Garrett.
Yeah.
So yes, it's not the same as a genuine Garrett, but it's as close as. There's not much difference. So
and it's still very, very capable.
Oh yeah, for sure. So we're going to see what it can do.
Very, very excited to see what it will do. Actually,
because
it should more than exceed what you're wanting out of it.
Oh yeah,
it should make 500.
It's a 600 horsepower turbo at least. So, the only limiting factor, as I may have mentioned, is the internal wastegate, which we may have to weld on an external one if we go for bigger power. But at this stage, I think the internal one will be fine. So the car's going to be up here for about 4 to 6 weeks. All in all, we're going to be filming every week with updates on this car. So make sure you subscribe if you're not already, because this build is going to be freaking awesome, and I cannot wait to get the car up to the 450 horsepower mark. It's going to change the car completely, because it does feel a bit slow at the moment. I came from a 400 horsepower Evo 8, so jumping into a 300 horsepower Skyline is, it's a bit of a big change. So yeah, that's going to be awesome. And obviously stay tuned for Ollie's Evo as well. We mentioned at the start of this video, that build is coming to the end of a 2.5 year build. That car's been off the road for. It's going to be mad when it's ready, and I cannot wait to have both these cars on the road. As I mentioned, we're going to be doing some shows, so make sure you keep up to date on that with us. And Ollie is back. He had to take a phone call. So I think that'll about do it for this video, guys. If there's anything you want to know about this build, or anything you want to know about the car, make sure you let us know down in the comments below. We're always up for having a bit of discussion about the build and stuff like that. If you've got any ideas as well for things that we can do to the car, it'd be much appreciated. As I said, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit a like, and make sure you hit subscribe to follow both of our builds, because as I said, it's going to be absolutely sick this year, and we cannot wait to bring you guys along for it.
And thank you to Mamba as well.
And thank you to Mamba for giving us a sponsorship deal on the turbo as well. That's made things hugely easier. Big thanks to them.
Wicked. Cool. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you very much, guys. Cheers. Bye. What is going on, guys? I'm Jack and welcome back to Project Race Car. I'm here with Ollie.
Yeah, hello.
We're back filming together.
Hello, Steve.
Steve's in it as well. Hey Steve.
You can edit that bit. And there's people in America running stock bottom ends. You just completely distracted me.
Sorry, we'll edit it out, it's fine. It's Steve again, guys. He just wants to be in the video, that's what it is.